Hello again. My name is Kathleen Littleton. I'm with Cross Stitch Antiques. Today is February 7th, 2026, and I am here to present to you my Nashville market releases for this coming year. Here we are. It's February. Like I said, I will be 1 month from now in my booth at the Embassy Suites in Nashville Market. But in the meantime, all of us designers and shop owners are busy getting our releases presented to you, our very loyal customers whom we all appreciate, and all of you stitchers out there. So without further ado, first of all, let me say I do have 13 releases this year. Many of them were releases from past events that I attended and presented workshops over the past year and a half or so, and some of these are now obviously ready to be released. So let's just start in no particular order, and the first one will be Adelaide Underwood. Adelaide Underwood is a Norfolk sampler. She was presented at the Attic Sampler Symposium about a year ago in January 2025. She is now ready for you if you are interested. And she has a lot of history and provenance about her. We have all the history of the stitcher included in the chart. The model I will show you was stitched on 46 count vintage buttercream by Lakeside Linens with 103 silks. First of all, let me show you the antique. And some of these you might actually have seen before when I presented them in the past as upcoming projects for events. But this is the antique. Very beautiful, obviously. We have the Norfolk octagons here, interlocking octagons. We have the cartouche in the bottom with her name. There's all kinds of beautiful florals and butterflies, and the colors are just really, really beautiful and lovely. And she is a big girl. And there you have the antique. Let me give you a stitch count on Adelaide: 300 by 462 stitches. So that leads me to the fact that we don't have a completed model of Adelaide. This is my finish so far. If you might recall, when I presented this one before to you on my Flosstube, my plan is to stitch it a little bit differently than the antique. Starting from this bottom part there, I'm going to make it into a family record sampler. Instead of the verse, which you see on the antique, I'm going to include my grandchildren's names and their birth dates. So that is not quite ready to be started yet. My hands have been busy with other projects currently, so she's temporarily on the back burner for that event, as well as the fact that I keep having grandchildren. So I think I still have some time. All right, the next one I'm going to present to you is another Norfolk sampler, and she actually is what I call a near Norfolk. Here we have Jane Egar. She was stitched in the year 1790 in a town called Wisbech, England, which is just adjacent to Norfolk. This was also presented at the Attic, so some of you might have Jane already last year in Sampler Symposium 2025. Jane Egar is just a very sweet, lovely little sampler. She's not a big girl at all. She's 190 stitches by 193. And I stitched the model on 46 count lichen by Tabby Cat Linen with NPI silks. So let me show you first of all. We have the antique. And again, she's an old girl, 1790. We do have glass on the antique, so there's a bit of a glare. Look how sweet this is with the little bunnies and the birds and the pine trees, which are common to Norfolk samplers, and the flora and the fauna. And what I like to think of up here are grapes on vines. So there we have the antique. And here here we have the sweet model stitched by me. And again, nice closer look. You can see it more clearly on the model. We have birds up here. We have running deer and rabbits and dogs, and the bunnies again at the bottom. This would be a really nice spring stitch. I did really enjoy stitching this one, and there you have the pretty colors and the beautiful symmetry. And that's Jane Egar, near Norfolk. The next one I have is a project which some of you have seen on social media already. This was a project that I presented at October in Swindon, England at Mrs. Parkman's Academy of Needlework. It was a gift to the attendees. And here we have the National Female Model School Sampler. And she is now ready for your stitching pleasure with St. Patrick's Day coming up in March 17th. And if you get her from one of your local needlework shops or your favorite online shop, you will be able to be stitching her and maybe even finish her by the time St. Patrick's Day rolls around. So there is a lot of history about the National Female Model School. It was in Kildare Street in Dublin, Ireland. And these motifs you see on here are very common to Irish samplers. This beautiful bud and vine motif. So there's a lot of history and connections with Irish samplers because of the model school itself and what the girls were stitching there and the teachers that taught them. So that's the cover. Here is the antique itself. See how very small this is? The antique, we believe, was stitched in approximately the 1820s, 1830s era. And again, another small stitch. This one is only 96 by 147. And I'll show you my stitched model. And here we have her all stitched up. So there is no girl's name on this because of the fact this was a teaching piece. This is part of a specimen book that you'll read about if you're interested in getting this chart. Specimen books were examples of needlework as the girls progressed in their skill levels. They stitched various things, little garments, little sleeves, so that they could learn all the aspects of needlework and stitching and sewing skills. And this was a cross-stitch piece that they were asked to do. So this could have been a teacher's model that she taught the girls how to do cross-stitch with. So therefore, no real name on it. But there you have it, National Female Model School, made in Ireland. Now the next two I'm going to show you are actually sister samplers, and they are the Sandery sisters. These girls were from Cornwall, England. These charts were presented as part of Stitch Camp at Country Sampler this past June of 2025. And so happy to have been there for the first time. And the Sandery sisters are, you kind of get more for your buck with these because each chart will come in two colorways. So for instance, this one, which is Mary's sampler, has on the inside a complete colorway to make it either the brighter look or the more muted tones. As well, both of the sisters' charts have the chart laid out so you can stitch it exactly as the antique, or you can stitch it completely over two. So there's lots of options there with each chart then. Muted or brighter tone, over two, or over one, just like the antique. Each one is sewed separately, and this one is Mary. She is approximately 108 by 206 in terms of size. So again, not very large, and you will be able to see close-ups of these on my social media. So that one is Mary, and then her sister, who stitched her sampler as well in 1837, These girls were ages 8 and 10. We have her antique pictured here, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then this is the model all stitched over to. She also, as I mentioned, has her different colorway right inside. So this is included in the chart. You have, again, the over 1 version, the over 2 version, and the 2 different colorways. Okay, let's take a look at what they look like. You have the antiques side by side. And you can see how beautiful and similar they are. And we have Mary, again, the over 1 verse, and Sarah, over 1 verse, very similar. All of them, again, were charted for over 2 if you prefer. Very, very sweet samplers. The typical band sampler look. Again, 1830s, but kind of whimsical and traditional at the same time. And let me show you what those models look like. Okay, here we have Sarah. Sarah over 2. And Sarah in the other colorway. This is the muted and this is the bright. And these are the over 2 versions, showing you just the 2 different colorways here. Okay. And then we also have Mary. This is Mary in the more muted tones model, and this is Mary in the brighter tones. This one is stitched over 1, and here you can see the adaptation I made for the sampler to be all over 2. Aren't they sweet? These were so fun to stitch. Very colorful too as well. So those are the Sandery sisters. Their charts again are sold separately, but I intend to hang them side by side to keep them together. They were purchased together, so grateful that the descendants carried these down in the family and they stayed together all these years as sisters. Okay, the next one I have to show you is S.S. Harris, Heart in Hand. She came out as the Schoolgirl Club piece for Country Sampler last February, about a year ago, at Country Sampler. S.S. Harris, we don't know who she was that stitched the sampler, and we don't know where, but the motifs on this are so joyful, so whimsical and fun. We have hearts, we have the symbol of the heart in hand in several places, and included in the chart is explanation of what those symbols actually mean. They appear in a lot of folklore, and it's really just really unusual to see them on a sampler. So the model is currently still at Country Sampler and will be down in Nashville with me next month. But in the meantime, I can at least show you the antique. And she is a medium-sized sampler. Her stitch count is 246 by 262. And the model on the cover here was stitched on 40 count Hemingway. And I try to offer a couple alternate linens on most of my charts these days. And we used a variety of Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Art threads, and Classic Colorworks. So here is the antique of S.S. Harris. This is how I got her. She was basted to a piece of muslin. She's in fairly good shape still. You can see just really how vibrant the colors have remained over at least 150 years. I'm sure she was stitched circa 1850s, 1830s perhaps. And again, her name is S.S. Harris, but we weren't able to find any provenance about her. Okay, lovely, lovely, sweet sampler. Now, believe it or not, I have another set of sisters samplers to show you, and these are the Chandler sisters. We have Mary and Maribeth Chandler. Now, as we are in the 250th year, these are celebrating America because they are American samplers. They were actually stitched in New Jersey, but their ancestor came over as an immigrant from England and settled and was one of the Massachusetts Bay colonists. So these are Quaker style antique samplers. They are full of multiple types of stitches. We have cross stitch over 2, cross stitch over 1. There's 8-leg Algerian eyelets, and there's also a queen stitch band, which you could stitch completely in cross stitch if you so desired. So these are circa 1810. I have the antiques to show you in a minute. I'm recommending to use Buttercream by Lakeside Linen or any off-white linen tone of your choice. As well, I'm recommending DMC, but you can also, all my charts are providing you with conversions to 103 silks and NPI as well. All right, so let's take a look at their samplers. And these are typical of the Quaker style. The Roman letters appear at the top. Again, this is antique, so it is in glass. There's some shadowing there. You can see the lovely motifs, the Quaker motifs, the baskets, the birds. But being stitched here in America, there are adaptations as time passed by, and the girls started stitching their style of Quaker samplers in a different format, and they might have changed the look, but many of the motifs are still present. So this is Mary. She stitched hers in 1810. And let me just find a safe spot for her. And then her sister, Maribah, was the younger sister. And she did a very similar job, very, very similar on her sampler. There are some different verses on each one, but the format is very similar. Okay, so these girls, the Chandler sisters, come with a lot of history as well. And, oops, let me just settle. I hope you look forward to stitching those for all you Quaker sampler lovers out there like me. Okay, celebrating America, we have another American sampler. And this one is called Katherine Shenan. And she's from Cumru Township, Berks County, Pennsylvania. She actually came out in the Kitten Stitcher Advent box in October, November of 2024, leading into the year 2025. So if you got that box, you will already have this, but look how Christmassy she looks. It's really not a Christmas sampler per se, but I love the look of this, what I like to think of as snow on top of that cute red house and the trees and the green. Looks like Christmas to me, but it's not really a Christmas sampler. And Cumru Township, circa 1840. And I do have the antique to show you. Her stitch count 274 by 234. And here she is, a large sampler. Isn't she just charming? Just charming. Now you'll see in the middle that big red flower is stitched in like long satin stitch, which I converted completely to cross stitch on the chart. And you have a couple of beautiful big fruit baskets and a sweet border around that has queen stitch, but again, the conversion to cross stitch is included in your chart. Alrighty. Okay, now a couple more. I lost track of how many. I think we have 3 left to show you. We have a small sweet or original design of mine, and this is called S is for Sampler. Now, I took some creative license with the S from the Singer sewing machine idea, and it always, if you look at the antique um, Singer trademarks, a lot of them have a woman stitching or sewing at a sewing machine. So what I did was I popped my Cross Stitch Antiques stitching girl in the middle and took that Romanesque letter from a Quaker sampler and stitched over one the word sampler. So S is for sampler is the name of this one. I don't have the chart. It's at the printer getting ready for Nashville Market. But I hope you like this one too. It would look great in anyone's stitching studio or sewing studio for that matter too. Then I have another original design. Sorry. This one is called Little Alice. Another small sampler. Little Alice is based on, if you remember, a sampler I had put out a couple years back called Alice Clark. I Had a Father Kind and True. And what I did was I took parts of that beautiful border on Alice's antique and made it into a small with my initials and the year 2025 that I stitched it. Where you can find this beautiful oval frame is also included in the chart, and it's just a really easy quick stitch, and I hope you like that too. Okay, I have one additional Norfolk sampler which I don't have either the model or the antique with me. Those are it's actually a friend of mine's sampler. She asked me to reproduce it for her, and it is currently back home with her, and she is stitching the model, which will appear on the front cover. So we'll leave that one for a surprise, but a very, very sweet, beautiful Norfolk sampler called Carolyn Branch, and she will be debuting in all of her glory with the model and the antique present, and I will be sure to post pictures for you on social media, so I don't have her with me today. And then the last one, the 13th one, is one I just wasn't sure if I would have ready in time for Nashville Market. You have perhaps been seeing some of this, or at least talked about. It's a sampler I presented in October at the Ackworth Residential event put out by the Sampler Guild of the UK. Adelaide Underwood is also a Quaker Ackworth style antique sampler, and I have what I'm going to show you now is the antique with me. Oops. And she is a very delicate sampler, so I'm going to hold her up as best I can. So she was stitched in Thorn, which is in England, which is about 25 minutes away as we would drive it today from the Ackworth School in Yorkshire, England. But this sampler was not made by a girl who attended Ackworth. Her name was Hannah Whitaker, and she stitched her sampler in a town called Thorn, as I said, in the year 1821. Now, we have a couple options of who Hannah could be, which are provided to you on the chart. But look how beautiful, just absolutely stunning. When I first saw this and acquired it in June of 2024 and received it, I just couldn't believe how gorgeous. This has to be just the most exquisite sampler in my collection, and I do love a lot of my samplers dearly. Here's the back. You can see how vibrant those colors are. Just really beautiful. Now, this Hannah is a big girl. She measures about 250 stitches wide by about 472 stitches long. It's all cross stitch over 2 except the over 1 in the verse and in her name. Now, I don't know how long it took Hannah to stitch her sampler in the year 1821, and I started stitching her, I believe, around September of this past year, which I think has only been less than 6 months ago. So she is not yet done, but I do hope to have her completed by Nashville Market. And I will show you what I have so far. And here is my model of Hannah Whitaker. You can see how big she is. So you can see the Quaker swan, all those half medallions creating the border, the lovely verse. And what I did was I chose the colors from the back of this sampler. They were very vibrant. They brought it back to life. Many of the colors were very washed out on the front of the antique. I didn't stray too far from them. You can see it's more similar to the original sampler. And these are Gloriana threads. And there's, I believe, 1 or 2 belle soie. And the linen is 46 count antique lace by Seraphim. So Hannah Whitaker 1821 completes our preview of my Nashville Market releases. So I encourage you to, if you are interested in any of these, to contact your local needlework shop. They are currently taking pre-orders for Nashville Market. I look forward to shipping my charts out to your favorite shops in early March. For those who are unable to attend as a shop, they will be shipped out sometime towards the end of March for non-attending shops. And I just hope as well that you would shop my website, which will have those as well down the road. I am not offering kits on many of these samplers. I will be providing kits down the road for the Sandery sisters, for the Irish National Kildare female school sampler, and a couple other smaller samplers I will have kits for on my Cross Stitch Antiques website. But that, again, is down the road. Shops are our focus. This is all about the Nashville Market and helping get our releases out there to the shops and to your favorite needlework stores. So thank you again for listening. Thank you for your support. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you. Bye now.